Budget TVs can be pretty good, and year over year, they're getting a little closer in picture quality to the big guys. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan, a lead tester at Ratings.com, where we help people find the best products for their needs. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for the latest videos, or check out our website for the full reviews. Today, we'll be having a value showdown between two sibling 2020 models from TCL, the 5 Series, also known as the S535, and the 6 Series, also known as the R635. We'll check out how they perform compared to each other, and ultimately, which one you should buy. They do have different features targeted at slightly different audiences, so let's see what's best for you. First, we'll compare the designs of each TV and then move on to the picture quality. We'll take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of each to see which features matter to you. If you'd like to skip to our test results, then see the links in the description below, or click on the YouTube chapter markers in the video timeline. We bought the 55-inch version of each of these TVs to test, but they are available in other sizes. We expect the 55-inch versions to perform similarly to the other sizes for each of these models. All right, let's dive right in and look at the design. Right away, you'll notice some differences here. The front of the TVs looks similar, with the R635 sporting a slightly thicker chin. It also has a more prominent TCL logo. The S535 is a little more subtle, but has a similar design language. The borders are nice and thin, with the edge-to-edge glass design. The feet of the 6 Series sit in a little more than the 5 Series at 42 inches rather than 47, so it will fit on a narrower entertainment cabinet if that's a concern in your setup. The feet feel similar, but have different shapes, and the feet feel a little more solid on the R635, leading to less wobble. Around back, we can see that the design is very different. The top of the 6 Series has a shiny, slippery plastic that looks like glass, giving it a more premium feel. The 5 Series instead sports a metal back that feels thin and a bit more flimsy in comparison. The plastic used to house the electronics looks different, but isn't really. Overall, the 6 Series is more refined, but when viewed from the front, there isn't too much to be upset about with either set. As for the inputs, they are both the same. They have 4 HDMI ports, which is nice to see, a single USB port, a digital optical out, a 3.5mm audio out for legacy sound devices, a tuner, and an Ethernet port. Disappointingly, while there is a composite in port, it requires an adapter from composite to 3.5mm, which is missing from both boxes. So you'll need to buy one separate if you want to connect that older DVD player or vintage game console. Both TVs support similar features such as Dolby Vision HDR, QLED-based wide color gamuts, and local dimming features. So let's take a look at where they actually differ. Now we'll move on to the picture quality. First and foremost, the contrast ratio is one of the most important aspects of picture quality. It can dictate how dark the blacks of a TV can look, as well as how much the colors can really pop. We measure contrast ratio on our checkerboard pattern to compare the brightest whites to the darkest blacks. The native contrast ratios of these TVs are great, with the 5 Series being better at around 7200 to 1 versus the 6 Series 5500 to 1. This means the 5 Series has better black levels than the 6 Series, but luckily, the 6 Series redeems itself when local dimming is enabled. It sports a local dimming contrast ratio of 10,000 to 1, which beats out the S535's 7400 to 1. Speaking of local dimming, this is another aspect where the two vary considerably. The R635 comes with a mini LED backlight, not to be confused with micro LED, which is an entirely different technology related to the panel itself. Tiny LED lights are packed into many more zones than typical full-array backlight TVs that then shine through the LCD panel for more control and granularity of the backlight to help improve contrast. The mini LED backlight implemented here is a light version of the one found on the higher-end Q825 from TCL, as it has less zones. That all sounds great, right? Well, unfortunately, this doesn't translate to better results for the R635. The mini LED backlight, coupled with the local dimming algorithm implementing it, is too aggressive and doesn't do as good of a job as it sets out to. In bright scenes, it looks good and isn't distracting, but it struggles a bit in dark scenes. The transition between backlight zones is sometimes visible, which can be distracting, and it dims sections of the screen non-uniformly, creating dark and blotchy scenes. On the other hand, even though the S535 has far less zones and a completely different algorithm than the R635, it gives a more pleasing and less distracting experience. The black level isn't quite as good, but zone transitions aren't visible, there isn't unnecessary black crush, and most details are preserved in dark scenes. We hope to see TCL improve the local dimming on the R635 through a software update, as they reportedly did on the Q825 series from last year, and we will retest it if they do. Let's quickly talk viewing angles, because there isn't that much that needs to be said. The R635 has slightly better viewing angles than the S535, but they are both bad. If you sit off-center from the TV, you will notice colors washing out and the black level increasing. This is typical of VA-type panel TVs, so if viewing angles are very important to you, I would consider other options such as the LG UN7300, which has an IPS-type panel. Some people don't care much about the viewing angles, and if you are one of those people, these TVs effectively perform the same. Another aspect where the two are very similar is the reflection handling. They have almost identical reflection handling, and it's decent, but any light directly in front of the screen will be visible. The brightness of the TV also affects how visible reflections can be, because light coming from the screen can offset glare on the screen. So, even though they have virtually the same reflection handling, the R635 is much better suited for a bright room. It can get considerably brighter than the S535. The 6 series has a real scene peak brightness of 680 nits, where the 5 series only has around 240 nits. And in some scenes, the R635 can hit almost 1,000 nits, which is much better than the 370 nits on the S535. This is also very important with HDR content. Even though they both have Dolby Vision, the 6 series will have a much more impactful HDR experience than the 5 series, since it can sustain over 1,000 nits in some scenes, where the 5 series maxes out at 430 nits. Both sets have a quantum dot backlight to help achieve an incredible wide color gamut in HDR. They have similar color gamuts, with the 5 series actually having the slightly wider 94% coverage of the DCI-P3 color space, compared to the 91% coverage of the 6 series. Keep in mind, this could be due to panel variance. Despite the slightly wider color gamut, the 5 series doesn't have as deep of a contrast ratio with local dimming, or get as bright as the R635. So, the R635 has a better color volume, filling in the dark and bright colors better than the S535. Another important consideration regarding colors is the out-of-the-box color accuracy. Our TCL 5 Series 2020 had a more accurate picture out of the box, which is great. The 6 Series wasn't as good performing, with noticeable white balance and color delta errors, a warm tint, and a darker gamma. This is something that tends to vary between individual units, so yours may be different. After calibration, they both are accurate, and differences in color can only be seen with specialized equipment. Luckily, the R635 has a feature where if you own a Google Pixel or iPhone, you can download an app that lets you calibrate the white balance of the screen with your phone camera. This isn't something we test for, however, as we use our Colorimetry Research CR100 Tri-Stimulus Colorimeter and CR250 Spectroradiometer to calibrate our TVs. Let us know in the comments section if the app worked for you. Before we move on to the motion handling of these two, I'll finish off the picture quality with the uniformity. We measure gray uniformity by taking a picture of a 50% gray slide on every TV we test. On our units, the R635 has a better gray uniformity than the S535, which has a more noticeable dirty screen effect. This is important when viewing scenes that have a lot of the same color displayed at any given time, such as in sports or video games. Black uniformity is the measure of uniformity in very dark scenes where other issues such as backlight bleed may become visible. The R635 doesn't hold up as well here, as there is noticeable clouding, flashlighting, and splotches of light coming through from the backlight. The S535 looks more uniform, but local dimming on both sets help mitigate this issue well. Do note though, as I mentioned before, the local dimming on the R635 can cause uniformity issues in some scenes because of the aggressive behavior of the mini LED backlight. TCL is infamous for the panel lottery, which basically means that you can get a great looking panel as easily as one that is fairly uneven. This is due to variances in the manufacturing tolerance. If this is a concern for you, make sure to buy from a reputable retailer so you can return or exchange your TV if you ever get unlucky with your panel. Okay, now onto the motion handling of these TVs, starting with the response time. This is how long it takes a pixel to change colors. Slow response times can lead to motion artifacts and ghosting behind fast-moving objects on screen. Both TVs have good response times, so motion should look clean. The 6 series has a bit of overshoot in some transitions, so it is possible to notice some artifacts in some situations, but for the most part shouldn't be an issue. This is great news for gamers and sports fans. Both TVs have flicker in the backlight, but it flickers at such a high frequency of 960 Hz that it shouldn't be noticeable at all to most people. If you want to clear up persistence blur, a black frame can be inserted every other frame to help clear up motion. Both TVs have good implementation of black frame insertion, or BFI. You'll notice the difference here is the R635 is a 120 Hz panel, while the S535 is a 60 Hz panel. So the S535 isn't being penalized for being unable to clear up 120 frames per second persistence blur. Next, let's talk about the motion interpolation. The 5 series is a 60 Hz display, meaning the maximum frame rate supported is 60 Hz or 60 FPS content. 24 and 30 FPS content can be interpolated up to 60 FPS, which is good. The 6 series takes the cake here though, as it can interpolate up to 120 frames per second thanks to its 120 Hz panel, which can produce smoother motion. If you'd like to learn more about motion interpolation, check out our video series here. Now, for you gamers out there, a low input lag is important for an immersive and competitive gaming experience. There is nothing more distracting when gaming than having a delay between the time you input a move in the controller and the action appearing on screen. Both TVs have good low input lag, but the S535 has significantly better input lag at 10 milliseconds versus the R635's 18 milliseconds. This 8 millisecond difference might matter to competitive gamers, but most casual players shouldn't see too much of a difference. That said, the 5 series is better if low input lag is important to you. For gamers wanting to play at higher refresh rates, the 6 series is the way to go because it has a 120 Hz panel with 9 milliseconds of input lag at 120 Hz, if your console or computer can handle it. I'll quickly go over the smart features as both these TVs use the same Roku Smart platform. Roku has a lot of apps called channels for you to choose from, so you're sure to find the app you're looking for. The interface is easy and smooth to use, so your smart experience should be good on either of these sets. If TV sound is important to you, the R635 is the clear winner here. It has a better bass extension, allowing for more rumble in soundtracks, voices, and explosions. It will also have better voice reproduction for watching TV shows and the news. If you would like a better sound experience, we recommend dedicated speakers or a soundbar. Check out our reviews for soundbars here. So, overall, what should you choose? Well, the R635 has a lot of great features that make it a great option. It has a much higher peak brightness for a more impactful HDR, better gray uniformity for you sports fans, and has a 120 Hz panel for gamers or soap opera effect fans. For those of you in a dark room, the S535 is also a great option as well, since it has a great native contrast ratio, a wide color gamut, and good black uniformity. It also has a lower input lag for gamers, but maxes out at 60 Hz. Unless you watch a lot of SDR movies, the R635 will be a better overall pick for most people. So that's it! What did you think about the TCL 5 and 6 series? Have you bought one of them? Let us know what you think below. You can check all of the measurements on our website. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel or become an insider on the website for access to our latest test results first. Also, we're currently hiring in our offices in Montreal for various positions. So, if you want to help people find the best product for their needs, have a look at the careers page on our website. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.